Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Smash Controls podcast. We are here today with Yite from Ground. How you doing today, homie?
Very nice. Thank you for having me here.
I'm thank you for making the time to come on. I know our time differences are crazy, but I still appreciate it. So tell us about what you do.
Okay, so nowadays I'm game creator. I'm an indie game developer. I'm working on a game called The Time I Have Left. I had my own company about uh, a year ago. We had a studio working on this game, but we didn't find a publisher, so we had to kind of close the studio. But we still decided to keep going with development by ourselves, like completely independent.
Hmm.
And I do a lot of things in the project. I am the kind of the creative director of it all. But also I do part of the art, the story, music, lots of the visual and creative aspect of the game comes mostly for me.
What was your vision for it? Can you tell us about the game before I start asking
Yeah, of course.
questions?
So the time I have left is a time-driven escape adventure RPG. It's kind of a mouthful, but it's exactly that. It's a game that has a concept of limited time. It's not your usual time limit. I can explain a little bit how that works later if you want. But it's kind of what an adventure game and an RPG is. It has a little bit of both. We have like exploration of the environment, unearthing of clues and all that. But also we have a turn-based combat system with reactive elements and all the things that you can expect from an RPG in that respect. So it's kind of a unique blend that also runs on this time limit, which is that our protagonist only has 6 hours left to live.
Hmm.
So all the game happens inside these 6 hours, but it's not your usual time limit. It's not like it's constantly ticking in real time,
Okay.
but you have like the game split into several chapters. Each one is part of those 6 hours, and also time flows at different speeds depending on the situation. So
Hmm.
when you are navigating menus or fighting this turn-based combat system battles, time goes 10 times slower. So it's a little bit more meaty than just 6 hours, and it has a little bit it of
What made you want to create a game this unique? Why these mechanics?
so I really wanted to put all the my expertise on working on a game. I was working at the motion graphics and animation industry back then, but I have always been very interested in making my own games. I have been working on several projects as a hobbyist for a long time, and at one point I decided that I really wanted to make something that kind of expressed the type of games that I like, the types of games that I want to make. So I said my initial goal was to make something much more simple. So we wanted to make something that was more like adventure driven, not complex.
Hmm.
But still, as we went and as I started working on it, I felt that the concept for the game had a lot of potential. So we wanted to kind of push to make that even more unique and even more interesting. And that's how we came up with the final design and how it is right now.
Oh, that's nice. So it was always you always kind of wanted this visually because when I see the game, it
Hmm.
looks really how do I say it? It kind of reminds me of an anime almost. That's the best way I can put it. It kind of has like a I don't not to make comparisons, but the first thing I see when I see the game is like Persona. It kind of like are you familiar with the Persona series?
Yeah, of course.
It kind of has that visual aesthetic to it to me. I guess was that like the art style you were going for or was it just kind of how it just happened?
Yeah, so it's no secret that we are very influenced by Japanese RPGs. Persona is not a direct influence to us, but it's also one of the better ones and the most popular. So of course we know of it. And since we liked a lot of Japanese RPGs, we really wanted to kind of not consciously, but we channel that aesthetic because we really like it.
Hmm.
It's more like or me as the art director of the game, I interiorized kind of like these traits of the Japanese RPG aesthetic, and they are a part of the work that I normally do. So it came kind of naturally, not something that we wanted to emulate a specific game, but more related to the overall influence that I had.
Is this like you all's like probably not your first game, but like maybe first major project or
Yeah, so yes, it is. In terms of the scope that it has, it is. I've been working on several projects over several years, but for one reason or the other, most projects ended up not being finalized. I just not working with friends, working with colleagues to try and create these projects, but they take a lot of time. So people have their own lives and their own work. Most of the projects I've been working on never came to be. But
mm,
still, that's one part of the reason that I wanted to make this particular game, because I started by myself and then I found a partner for this, my partner Elias, which is the sole programmer of the whole game. He believed in the project and we together brought it up to this point. So yeah, it's not like it's the first thing that we are doing, but it's kind of like with this scope and this kind of production values, it's definitely the first.
yeah. So you guys are a two-person team. It's
Yes, yeah. So at one point in time, we were more people in the team. But about 80 to 90% of everything is made by just two people.
okay.
We have people that come and go depending on the situation, and some people have made some models for the game. We have a script writer which is working with us, but most of what's in the game is made by just the two of us.
Okay. Ah, that's cool. So how long have you been working on the game? Like since like
Yeah, it's been a while
okay.
because it started as I said, it started like a hobbyist project and
Hmm.
grew up from there. So the very first year and a half, it was just me trying
Hmm.
things and trying to create something that resembled a game in order to find someone that wanted to develop it with me. Then I met my partner, my current partner on it. With it was like a year and a half later. Then we worked together on a vertical slice. Then we built the company. Then we have been working on it for a while.
Hmm.
We announced it way back. We announced it officially in 2022.
Okay.
And our goal was to find a publisher or someone that wanted to support the project and then go full speed, grow the team. But everything we had to do it by ourselves from our own money and our own. So at one
Mm.
point where we couldn't keep on with that, and we had to kind of stretch the development and keep on with our own means. So that is why it's taking a while. So we announced it in 2022. We started probably in 2019, 2018, something like that. It's been a while, but we've been working nonstop on it, and it's taking great shape, I think. So we're still here.
It looks amazing.
Thank you.
I haven't got a chance to play it because I know you guys have a demo out, right?
Yeah, there's a demo up on Steam. You can try it, and please share your thoughts on it
Oh, I
because
sure will. What is the demo like? Like, without giving too much away, like, are we in the beginning? Are we at like a section in the middle of the game?
yeah, so it is the beginning of the game. It's not the immediate beginning. We cut like the introduction part, so you are kind of thrown in right at the start without little context,
Hmm.
because we really wanted to for people to kind of try all these weird things that we were trying to do in terms of the narrative systems, the combat system. It's all very very unique. So we really wanted people to experience it as soon as possible when taking the controller, and also not spoil too much of how the game starts. So
Yeah.
it's like the first chapter of the game. It's lengthy. It can take between 1 and 2 hours to complete, depending on how you play and the amount of combat that you decide to engage on. But it's mostly the first chapter of the game without
Okay.
the introduction.
Okay. That's not bad. Sounds like in for a good time. Well, as what was like the music direction for the game? Were you inspired by any soundtracks, any artists, or do you have a background in music or anything?
Yeah, so I am not a professional musician. I am mostly self-taught. I studied music until I was 14 years old or so, but I had to decide if I wanted to go for a music career or getting to where I'm now.
Hmm.
So I kind of left that part, but I still having working on my own projects, musical projects. I have my own influences that are a lot. But it's mostly my style. I decided for this kind of style that was a little bit dark, a little bit synthy in terms of
Mm,
atmosphere for the game, but
mm,
it's mostly the style I'm comfortable with. So it's not like I looked directly or something in particular, but people that know me and will kind of get a lot of influences from various game composers, but also from other genres and other bands.
that's cool. When you, it's not a horror game, is it?
No, it
Does
is
it have?
not,
Okay.
but it has a lot of the DNA of classic horror games.
Hmm.
It's not scary. We didn't want to make a scary game, but there's a lot of the structure and the design that makes a horror game in here in terms of exploration and how you deal with the puzzle and environment and how you have to dodge certain encounters. So we really wanted to build kind of like the tension that you have in a classic survival horror experience without
Yeah.
delving into pure horror, because we wanted this to make more of an RPG experience. So there's a lot of genres in here, but it's not strictly a horror game.
Yeah,
Not this time.
no, I asked because I seen some of the clips you posted on Twitter, and I don't want to say it was scary looking, but it was just kind of like maybe supernatural would have been the better word instead of
Yeah, that
horror. But no,
that is
it all
accurate.
looked good. Though. I just want to say it all looked good, but
Thank
when
you.
I saw it, I was like, oh, this it just kind of made me think of like supernatural stuff. That's
Yeah,
all.
it has this supernatural component, and it has also this kind of unnerving space, unnerving creatures and all that. But we really wanted for the game to be kind of accessible and not true horror and
Yeah,
disturbing and all that. So there's people that find it scary, but we never
yeah,
said to make a scary game. I promise.
understandable.
There are no jump scares in here.
Oh, no, I'm not worried about that. But RPG though, like clearly you could have just made an action game. Clearly you could have just made it a strictly RPG game. Why combine the two?
Yeah, so when I was starting the project, I was thinking about something that could be made with a small team.
Hmm.
And at that time, I would have loved to make a fully fledged RPG with party and all that. But I felt that it was too ambitious for a first project of this magnitude. And I think I was right because right now, just with this kind of blend, it's still a lot of work. It's still a lot of time for a very small team. In order to push kind of what we could do to the maximum, I decided to make something that was more of an adventure game, but has all these RPG elements that can serve as a stepping stone for people that are not into 80, 100-hour long RPGs, but still would like to try and experience this kind of turn-based combat and this kind of flow. And also the other way around, we wanted to have this exploration aspect, this narrative aspect that tied together. So people that like RPGs could come and see how this cool turn-based combat system is inside this adventure game. So it was kind of like trying to make the most of the team that we had and
Hmm.
create something of a unique experience that could look interesting for both audiences, for people who like adventure games and RPGs alike.
I remember I think you kind of touched on it actually. You said it'll be like exploration, so it's not really near it's not really like a linear game.
So there's a term for it right now. It's called white linear, right? It's kind of popular.
Okay.
So it kind of serves that structure. It's a linear game in terms of a structure,
Hmm.
but you are kind of free to explore each chapter as an area. So you
Okay.
can move around and find your own, explore at your own pace.
Hmm.
And there's just a way to keep on going forward, but you decide the amount of time you want to spend on each area, and that plays a lot with the timer that we have, because you will reach the exit of the level sooner than the time limit that you have, and you will have to decide if you want to spend it exploring more, or which areas do you want to explore before moving on, because when you move on to the next chapter, you will lose all the time that you haven't.
Okay.
So it's not, as I said, it's not the usual timer that you have to go as fast as possible, because if you
Hmm.
leave the level and you haven't spent the time, you will lose it either way. So it's in your own benefit to kind of trying to explore and find
Hmm.
this all the level has to offer before moving on. And for that, you
Okay.
have a certain freedom. It's
Okay.
not like a straight line.
So okay, that's a mechanic I'm gonna have to look out for because I was not expecting that. So I'm like, all right now. So have you always been like a creative person, or like have has gaming always been something that's been part of your life, or something you kind of picked up later on?
Yeah, definitely. I have been always looking forward to making what I'm doing now.
Hmm.
I started kind of discovered back in the day. I really liked Sonic the Hedgehog, the very first one. I played both the Mega Drive and the Master System version, which I adored back in the day. Those two games made me look into how games were made.
Hmm.
At one point, Sonic Jam was called for the Saturn, which was like a collection of Sonic games
Hmm.
released. And that was the very first time that I could look at design documents for the Sonic games. I saw like all the drawings of the different mechanics of the game and all that. From that point on, I started designing my own games as a kid, and later on as a teenager, and then as an adult too. So it's something that I've always wanted to do for several reasons. When I was choosing a career here in Spain, where I'm from, we didn't have a lot to choose from. You either went for an engineering career, or you tried to study something else, and then try to move on to the games industry. And I ended up studying graphic design and animation. And that was kind of like a detour. I had to kind of start my career there and work several years in that industry. But when I had the opportunity to go back and try to make a living of making games, I instantly pivoted back and tried to keep going with that. So
Okay.
yeah, it's always been a part of me to try and create this kind of weird things.
Okay. Now, I mean, that's pretty cool. I guess you're not, I guess, are you self-taught?
There are lots of things that I am self-taught, not all of them, because partly I think all the aspects of graphic design and art and all that I studied back at the university at college. But everything else, from animation and 3D art, and game creation, even music to a certain degree, all of that has come kind of naturally. I've always wanted to learn more things that helped me make my own games. And to a certain degree, I kind of went overboard with that, because I actually don't have enough time to work on all the things I want for the
Hmm.
project. So at one point, I had to learn and delegate things, because you always want to have your hands on everything. I want to make the
Yeah.
music, but you can make video games all by yourself. So you have to
Hmm.
trust your team, you have to trust the other people. But yeah, it's great. It kind of, having a clear goal pushes you to learn all sorts of things, and I'm very grateful for that.
You mentioned that you're from Spain. I'm not sure if you have anything to compare it to, but I guess growing up, how was the gaming scene in Spain? Like, I know I'm in America. I know we had rental places like Blockbusters. We used to have arcades before they went out of business, and then everything moved to pretty much what it is now, digital.
So Spain was kind of similar in
Hmm.
many ways. So we had arcades too, and eventually they disappeared too. So that was more of a global thing.
Yeah.
I really miss them. I enjoyed a lot of my time going to arcades and all that. But also, we it could have been worse, because we kind of had like a market, and several games were released officially here in Spain. That's why games like Final Fantasy and all this thing in Spain are kind of like very well loved.
Okay.
But a lot of games of RPGs, especially Japanese RPGs, didn't release officially in Spain. So you had to kind of go loops and hoops to in order to get them. You had to import them, and you had to mod your console to kind of be able to play these Japanese RPGs that only the states were getting. But that was very cool, because we kind of built like a small community
Hmm.
back at high school, and everyone was kind of importing their own games, and they were lending it to their friends. And that's why I discovered a lot of the games that I love today, something like Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross, all these kind of games that were never released officially until a couple of years ago on the Switch. So
Hmm.
it was kind of difficult to get things, but it was also very interesting to, because it was like there's a lot of games that are in English that we can play, but you have to get around to kind of get them. And
Yeah.
I remember with my girlfriend back there, which is my wife today, we went to buy Xenosaga 1, the first one from
Okay.
PS2, and we had to place an order through the internet, but you couldn't pay with credit cards, so you had
Oh
to make a bank transfer, and we were
my
just
God.
a couple of teenagers, and we were very scared because we were making like a bank transfer to Hong Kong, but
Uh-huh.
everything came out great in the end. So and I love Xenosaga, so it's perfect.
Okay. It worked out in the end. I like I could even imagine having to do something like that just to play out of Final Fantasy or something.
Yeah, it was crazy, but it was thanks to games like Final Fantasy that we opened the doors to that part of the market, because we couldn't get all the others. You looked into magazines and all that, and saw the screenshots and said, I want to play this. Where it has released, it was great. It was great in its own way. It's better now that we have access to everything,
Yeah.
but it was cool in its own
Okay.
way. You were like a select club of people who like
Hmm.
these weird little games, and you became this kind of creator that makes weird games too. So it's cool.
What what's kind of the feedback you've been getting for your game? Like you've been, I'm sure it's mostly positive. I'm not trying to say anything bad, but like how has like you putting a game, a demo out, something you created from your own mind and your own skill, just getting like that feedback from people like, hey, I love this, hey, this, that. Like, what's that feeling like?
Yeah, it's really awesome. I really like getting to talk to people about how did they experience this game, because at first we were experimenting a lot and you don't know if it's going to work until
Hmm.
people start trying it and they give you the feedback. You start seeing how things fit together. You start seeing what you like, other people also like. So it's very interesting, and also not every feedback is positive. It's mostly positive. There's people that are very receptive to what we are trying to do, and they appreciate the intention and they see what we want to do. But there's also kind of like a dark side, because we are in the end a very small team, so we try to make everything as polished as possible. But the more polished you are making your game, the more polish people expect from it. So sometimes people
Hmm.
would say, "Oh, it was great, but the animations were you could improve on the animations." And you say, "Okay, of course I can improve. I want to improve, but we are a very small team. We are self-funded. We have a million other things to do in this game. So we try to keep the
Yeah.
overall quality at a good point, and try to improve on the things that people are most vocal about, in terms like animation work, or things like control, or things that the combat is still a little bit rougher on the edges. So we
Signal.
take everything in, and we try to implement all that in due time. We do our best
Hmm.
to listen to everyone, do our best to make the game the best it can be.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's very cool to see people, and to get all this feedback and see that things are working
Okay.
mostly as intended.
Yeah, now I understand. What's some of the, I guess, the biggest challenges you face, developing your own game?
It's the most difficult thing is getting the support to keep the project going for this long. You have to kind of work on several things at the same time. You have to work on the progress of the game. You have to work on promotion of the game. You have to work on securing stability for your life and for the team, for the studio,
Hmm.
and all of that you have to do it at the same time. So it's very, very difficult to kind of have a balanced life around that lifestyle of constant stress, because you want to work on the game, you want to finish the game, but you also need to take into account a lot of things.
And I guess this project is probably the only thing you're currently working on because it's taking so much to of your time as is.
Yeah, it's currently it's the only project that we are working on. I don't think it's gonna change until this project is completed. But as I said, it's difficult because we have to kind of secure our living at the same time as we work on this project. So that's why it's taking a little bit longer, a while longer than we anticipated. So apologies.
I understand. Yeah. I I got you. It's like that sometimes, I guess. No, it's okay. All right. Just had a little signal issue. It's okay. But we're just having a little technical difficulty. Everybody might have to splice this part out. But so far, we've been having a good time. Yite, I appreciate him coming on, just sharing some knowledge, sharing some insight. Knowing that he was in Spain, I thought, and I wasn't mistaken, but I thought it would be a good opportunity to try to learn a little bit more about like the gaming culture inside Spain and maybe see if it's any or much different than what we're facing over here.
Hello, I
Hey,
got kicked. I'm
no,
sorry.
it's okay. It's okay. It was just a signal thing, I'm guessing, but I'm glad you
Okay.
came back.
Yeah, of course.
I want to ask about the game's difficulty. How do you manage the difficulty in the game? Like, is it one set difficulty? Do you have like tiers, like easy, medium, hard? Like, how's that work?
Okay, it's an interesting question because it's kind of different to other difficulty modes. So we don't refer to them as difficulty modes. We talk about play styles, and it's not a
Mm-hmm.
fancy word. It's not trying to decorate what they really are because the overall difficulty of the game is the same in terms of the enemy AI and this. But the way the time limit works, and the amount of skills you have at your disposal changes in the
Mm-hmm.
different playstyles. So, for example, we have like the story playstyle that we call it, and the story playstyle, the timer is more relaxed. So, when you are in menus and in combat, the time completely stops, and you are only on real time when you are exploring. And you have access to several skills that are not available in other modes. For example, we
Mm-hmm.
have like a skill that you can equip that simplifies the dodging mechanics or that adds on-screen prompts in order to see which button to press. And
Mm-hmm.
these are not present in the other two modes. The other one
Okay.
is the balanced, which is like the intended experience,
Mm-hmm.
which is real time during exploration and 10 times lower in menus and combat.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have access to these extra skills from the start, at least. And then we have like a challenge mode that is completely in real time, so you don't have the the benefit of the time stopping or slowing down, and also you don't have these additional skills. So it's just the amount of mostly is related to the timer and the amount of tools at your disposal for making the experience a little bit more story focused or challenge focused, but the difficulty, the overall difficulty stays the same.
I was just wondering because I know, well, you pretty much said it. Like certain RPGs, at least that I'm familiar with to an extent, have like you said the balance in the story driven kind, like more modes and stuff. So that's hey man, y'all thought of everything. It sounds like.
We tried it's been a long time, so we really that the original, the intended experience turned out to be a little bit stressful for a lot of people. We found lots of players at events that said, I really like the vibe of this game, I really like the story of this game, but the timer is making me stressed out,
Yeah.
and I can't play things that stress me out. So we thought, okay, we really want, this is kind of the intended experience, we can't get rid of the timer, but we can make it more lenient on certain situations and try to ease that anxiety. We really don't want people to become too anxious
Yeah.
playing the game.
Understandable.
In terms of the timer by itself, it's stressing enough. So we decided to make this kind of adjustment. But
Okay.
we really didn't want to get rid of any of the things that make the game special. So the combat is in there, the timer is in there, just working a little bit different for people to be more accessible and more story focused.
Okay. All right. How do I put this? Like when you're and all this all the things, is this when you sat down, was this idea of this game, I don't want to get the name wrong, but it's the time I have left, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why I'm adding extra words, but the time I have left, was this something like that's been in you've wanted to do for like a long time, or was it like I want to make a game and it just kind of came to you after that?
Yeah, so as I explained before, I tried several projects with friends, and none of them ended up being made. We started, we kind of all the things that you when you start with, you try to put a lot
Hmm.
of ideas, and everyone wants to say their thing, and no project came to be. And I had like a lot of projects on my desk that I wanted to make. But for
Hmm.
this particular project, I started from scratch, and I
Okay.
thought, okay, something that I really want um, to tell, and something that can be like the perfect business card for me, so to speak. Like it's my card. This is me. This is the kind of games that I like to make. This is the kind of person that and at that point in time, I was kind of thinking, and that's related to my kind of life story from before, that I was stuck in the motion graphics industry, and I won't be able, I wouldn't be able to make games professionally ever. So I kind of had like this feeling that I was running out of time, and that's how this concept started to take shape. So I thought, okay, maybe time is running out, but there's still things that I want to do. There's still projects that I want to create. So from that point, it kind of started and kept taking shape.
What engine does the game run on?
It's Unreal Engine 5. It started on 4. It looked exactly the same because we are not using anything that is kind of like these unique features of Unreal, like the Lumen and Nanite and all that. It's very artisanal. I think it's,
Mhm.
but it's I think it's the engine that worked best for the kind of game that we wanted to make with this 3D aesthetics and fixed cameras and all that. I think it was the right choice for the project.
We're rolling with you. You're the captain.
Thank you.
I think it looks good, but I don't know the ins and outs of working behind the scenes. So is it? I don't know if you find Unreal easier, more difficult. You
Yeah,
just more comfortable with it. You
it
know.
depends. When I was saying that I wanted to kind of maximize the team's skill set, I was used to work with 3D environments and 3D engines and all that, and I really wanted to work on something made in a real engine. Which at the time I started the very first prototypes, it was like it had been free for a short while, or for a couple of years at most. So I really wanted to kind of get into the engine and learn it as I went. But yeah, it's not that we could have probably used any other engine for the project, but I think it was very efficient for us working with Unreal, and it's kind of refreshing to show that different styles can be achieved with an engine of this uh, how to say it, of this standing. Everyone says like Unreal, it has to be like hyper realistic and all
Hmm.
that. And then you find things like Guilty Gear or something like that, and you say, oh, this engine is much more versatile than that most people think.
Yeah. Okay. Um, as you're creating, the time I have left, you're putting this in there, you're putting that in there. How do you what little things do you try to do, maybe visually or with the audio, do you try to do to like enhance kind of like that experience that a player playing the first time?
So we decided to use a fixed camera system, which is kind of reminiscent to older games and older survival horror and older RPGs. And that may look like it's uh, more easy to do than a free camera because okay, the camera doesn't move too much, but it's very difficult to set up in terms of for once, because if you are not using like time controls, you have to be very careful of how you place the cameras, and also you have to make each camera look good, and that takes a lot of time. We have to check each and every camera when you play and you change angles. Every camera has to be crafted to kind of guide your eye towards the things that are important. You have to make it look good, but also you have to, for certain elements, to be the highlight of each screen. So that is very time consuming. It's a lot of work, but I really think it's cool when people don't really notice that they are going where you want them to go just
Hmm.
by how the image is created. So we put a lot of effort into making this striking and but also functional, and I think that it's probably a lot of people won't appreciate it, but it's something that we do with a lot of love.
That's I talked to some of my other developer friends, and just some of the fun things they put in there for themselves. One thing that I've heard, kind of changing topics a little bit, is making it more accessible for people that don't typically play that type of game. I have the idea of an of RPG action games. I can kind of maybe subconsciously tell, okay, I'm supposed to go down this road, but somebody that never played this game, they're walking in the trees. They don't know where to go. How have you been able to kind of make it more, I guess, friendly for people that just don't play this type of game? Because it's like the stories I hear are so crazy. Like, I didn't know there was a start button. Like, what?
Yeah, there's all kinds of gamer people, and nowadays it's very diverse. There's lots of people that play just a certain genre or play a certain way, and it's kind of difficult to make a game that pleases everyone.
For
So
sure.
we kind of try to lower the barrier of entry, so people can decide themselves if they like what we are putting on the table, because we know that not everyone is going to like a turn-based game with reactive combat, or a slow-paced section which has a lot of cryptic exploration. So we try to make a game that is very straightforward at first, but has a lot of layers for people that really want more out of the experience. And that's kind of our solution. It's kind of guiding the player for the main story and for the main path, but allow a certain degree of freedom and expression in terms of gameplay and difficulty.
Okay.
And one thing that we did that we are kind of proud, which is our, you haven't played yet, but I'm gonna kind of explain to you.
That's fine. That's fine.
But you unlock skills for combat in this game by exploring. So you
Okay.
explore, you find clues, and these clues unlock short story fragments about the story of the game. And every time you unlock one of these short story fragments, you get experience on three different paths towards different skills. So depending on the secrecy of what you just found, you get access to more powerful skills
Okay.
or more common skills. So everyone that plays the game and just follows the main story will get the critical skills, the critical path, which are the skills that everyone needs to beat the game, which is
Hmm.
kind of like the basic tool set, but enough to beat the game if you want. If you get out of, sorry, if you get out of your way, you can get like exploration skills, which are more powerful and enhanced versions of the ones that you already had. And if you really explore every nook and cranny of the environment, you get like secret skills, which are very powerful. So people that are more into the exploration aspect and have difficulty with the combat will get a more powerful tool set by default. But if you want, this is kind of optional, so you can decide how to tackle these encounters. You can customize your skill set, and you may decide to skip everything and just go through the main path and try to beat the game with the bare minimum. So we wanted to offer this kind of flexibility and tie the skills to the exploration aspect and not the combat aspect, to make
Hmm.
more people unfamiliar with the RPGs to kind of enjoy the combat and enjoy the experience.
Okay. Well, hey, explore. Everybody explore. Take time to
Please
check
do.
your surroundings. I put a lot of effort and time into this, please.
Yeah, it's also the way that you get the most of everything in the game, the story and the combat, and the most tools, the most everything. So please explore.
How do you go to do you take your game to like gaming conventions and such?
Yes, we've been to several conventions over the years. We've been several times here in Spain. We have like, something that is called the Indie Dev Day, which is kind of the biggest event in Spain for indie games. This year we can't go, but we've been there several times. But we've also been 3 times at Gamescom at the Indie
Okay.
Arena booth. This year we couldn't go also because when we kind of shut the studio, we are now on low budget mode, so we can't
I
go to
I
as many places as
understand.
we would love to.
I
But yeah,
understand.
but yeah, it's very something that we miss. It's very enjoyable. It's a very interesting experience. You get extremely tired, so it also demands a lot of you. But it was great going to events. Unfortunately, this year it's kind of like no events for us this year, but
Yeah.
hopefully next year we will be
Oh
able
yeah.
to go to some events again.
Oh, I completely understand. Same here. There's a few I've been wanting to go to, but just life and everything. I was like, I guess I'm not gonna make it. But
Yeah,
I asked. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say that at least we can't go to events, but we can stay home working nonstop in the game. So it's a trade-off. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Now I was gonna ask. You answered. As what's I guess what's the furthest convention you've been to, whether it's gaming or not? Just a fun question. Like, what's the furthest one you've been to? Has it all been in Spain? Have you come across the water before, or like?
So the farthest. So
Yeah.
I haven't been to the States. I would have loved to go to a bigger event, but mostly we have gone to European ones. We've been to Germany like 4 times, which is kind of nowadays with Gamescom and all that, they have like the biggest gaming event in Europe. So it's kind of
Hmm.
like the go-to place for European studios to go. In Spain, several ones. And we've tried to go to Japan once. We couldn't go. But as I said, going to events is very expensive too.
Yeah.
So if you don't have like the support of a publisher or someone that is kind of granting you the stability to keep working on the game and also go to events, you have to pick very specifically where you go. But definitely we have a lot of fans in the States, so we believe we would be like very happy to be there, but it's very expensive for us to go there right
Oh,
now.
understandable. It's on the list. That's what I
It's on the
always say. It's
list,
on the list.
definitely.
Okay, so I want to. I know you've done it earlier, but I want to kind of touch on it again. I'm new to. I'm new to your game. I haven't played it. I've seen it. I see you. Hey, what do you do? Oh, I'm developing a game. The time I have left. How do you how when I tell my friends, hey, you need to play this game? What do I tell them basically? What would you have me tell them?
Okay, so you can tell them if you do you like adventure games? Do you like RPGs with turn-based combat? Then you should give it this a try because it's kind of a unique blend of both. So I think the kind of like the real hook of the game is how it's very unique in every aspect. So it has a little bit of a survival horror, it has a little bit of an RPG, it has a little bit of an adventure game, it has a timer, it has a visual style that it's kind of different. So just for the to see what this weird mix of things is like, I think it's your friends may want to give it a try. I hope.
They probably will. They probably will. Okay. As we come to a close, I was supposed to ask you at the beginning,
Hmm.
but like I said, I don't know how to run my own show properly. But I'm gonna ask you now. Do you remember? I think you said it was. I think you already said it, but I'm gonna ask again, just because. Do you remember what your first video game was, and the first video game to make you rage quit?
Okay, that's for the Smash controllers. Okay, so my very first game, I don't remember exactly, but I have drawings of Fantasy Zone for
Hmm.
the Mega Drive.
Hmm.
I have some drawings for 5-year-old me, which Opa opening those drawings. So
Okay.
that's probably the first, at least the first that made an impact on 5-year-old self.
Right.
And in terms of rage quitting, I don't really know. Let me think for a second.
Yeah.
I'm allowed into 2D fighting games. I'm sure
Hmm.
I've rage quit more than once playing against my friends. I don't think it's the very first, but in Guilty Gear X, I was playing with my friends a lot back then, and I'm sure I remember being very frustrated with several several
I,
of those combats. So
I
it's probably
completely
not the first, but
understand.
it's the most memorable.
Oh,
I still
that
rage quit sometimes. I play Exard on weekends with my friends, and still I have a friend that kicks my ass every Sunday, and I really some day I'm gonna smash my controller. I'm sure of it.
so you're a big fighting game person. Is that like your favorite genre or?
No, my favorite genre is actually Japanese RPGs, which
Oh,
is
okay.
kind of telling. But I really like 2D fighting games, especially Arc System Works ones. I've come from followed their trajectory over several years, so I I really like Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue and all that. Um, but yeah, I'm not ultra good at those, but I do my best.
Yeah, no, I could say I just like to. When it comes to button mashing, I'm pretty decent. When it comes to like action doing combos and stuff, you're on your own. um, oh man, I just had it fell out my mind. But you're an artist. You're an artist. That's what it was. You're an artist. Do you still like I guess draw for like yourself, just things you want to see, or is everything just more so towards the game and whatnot?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this the other day that I've been so focused on the game this past few months that I've been like kind of like neglecting my drawing, and I was wondering if I'm gonna get too bad if I don't practice a little bit more because nowadays I'm doing a lot of 3D work and a lot of animation work inside the game. Also a lot of game design and actual prototyping of things and all that. So sometimes it happens that I stay like a month without doing any music for the game, and I wonder, then I'm gonna get rusty. Then it's gonna get everything's gonna get bad, and people won't like to play the game. So I try to do everything. I try to sometimes draw, sometimes work on 3D, sometimes do music. I try to do everything. It's a little bit slower than working ultra focused on something, but for me in particular it has worked pretty well over the years that when you are kind of stuck in a kind of artist block in one of the several aspects that you work on, you kind of sit with the other and things kind of start flowing again.
Yeah.
My music sucks, then I go to draw. My drawing sucks, then I go to 3D, then I go to the game. Then you kind of rotate between all of those things and you get unstuck, and one thing helps the other.
Yeah. Okay. No, I was just wondering because I know as a I recently started drawing again
Mm-hmm.
myself, and just talking to other fellow artists, and you answered even another question: how you deal with possible art block and stuff. But just kind of seeing like their method and what they do when they're creating, or how often they create and whatnot. Just it's just kind of cool to collect. I mean, not collect, but connect with another creative and just kind of see, kind of pick an artist's brain a little bit here and there.
Yeah, of course. It's very enriching. I really liked discussing these kinds of things too, and find different ways to kind of get out of my own blocks because this is kind of like the like I call the roller coaster of the artist. Sometimes you are non-stop, no one can stop you. You
Yeah.
are working on everything works well, everything is doing well, and sometimes you can move the pencil, you are completely blocked. It's great, and just having this kind of talk helps you kind of find motivation or new ideas.
Do you ever post any of your art online? Just random question, just to because I know, like I said, I love art. I don't care. I know a lot of artists are critical of themselves, but like simple things from like just watercolor to stick figures to like these whole fleshed out high detail pieces people make. I just love to see it. So I was just wondering, do you post your art online, or is it just strictly the game?
And yeah, unfortunately, I am focusing only on the game now, and
Okay.
because I actually don't know how to get more time in my life to do more
Hmm.
things. Because just promoting the game, discussing the game with my partner and the people that would help, kind of trying to get everything together, preparing the music, preparing everything that I do for the game, it's just eating all my time. I would
Understandable.
love to make some like create something, a small art piece or a model or a drawing and upload that. But I don't really have any time to make this right now.
Yeah.
So also I think part of me thinks that it would be, I have to take responsibility for the game. I have to finish the game first. There's people waiting
Right.
for it since a
Gotcha.
very long time ago. So I have to focus on this every moment I have and I can
Mm.
in order to finish this project. And then we'll see. There's lots of things that I would love to do. So
Understandable. Just to kind of wrap it up, to not to give too much of a like finite answer. If you had to put a percent on it, how much of the game is done? And we had to put a percent on
okay, so it's a little bit tricky
it. Hmm.
because there's a lot of work done in
Hmm.
terms of how the game is built, which took a lot of time in terms of tools, in terms of creating all the like the skeleton of the game and pre-production and all that, which usually takes a lot of time. And there's the actual game making part of the game. So there's still a little bit to go. I can give you a close number. I'm sorry,
Okay. That's okay.
but we are progressing smoothly.
Okay, that's even better.
It's obviously not coming out in 2023, but we are hard at work on it, and it's mostly because people still believe in the project and have been very supportive of the game. So it's thanks to the people that are kind of rooting for us and helping us not throw in the towel, that the project is still alive and we are progressing towards completion at a steady but continuous, slow but steady pace. So thank you.
No,
Thank you for
no,
it.
that's fine. No, that is fine. I just wanted to know. I wasn't trying to put pressure on you or anything.
I would love to say an exact number, but if I
Yeah,
say an exact number, then people are going to ask,
yeah. I
okay,
know
when it's coming out? When
exactly.
it's coming out? It's coming out.
He
Yeah, and
said he said
they
fifty
said
six
they were
percent.
like, and then it's very difficult for us because, as I said, we are completely self-funded. We have to kind of uh, keep our lives afloat as we develop the
Yeah.
game. So it's not like we could say, okay, we have like $1 million, so
Hmm.
in a year or so we could hire these people, and okay, it's just 6 months away, a year away, 2 years away.
Right.
So it's not that easy for us to commit to a number. But
Hmm.
we are working on it. We are working on it nonstop. It's thanks to the support of the people that believe in the project. So we'll keep working on it.
All right, man. You have anything for the people? You want anything they need to know, where to find you? I'm gonna put it in the description of the video and also, but anything you want the people to know before we get out of here?
Yeah, I think I've shared almost everything I wanted to say. You know how the game
Okay.
works, you know, part of my life. So um, I would just say that please try, if you have the chance, try the demo. And if even if you don't like it, please share your thoughts with us. Because as I said, it's kind of like a very unique mix of elements. So every opinion counts for us, and we really want to make this the best experience for everyone as possible. Give it a chance if you can, and don't hesitate to share with us your opinion, because we are very eager to know more about how was your experience.
Everybody, creative director at Ground. The time I have left, give it up for him, everybody. Woo.
Thank you.
Yite, you're always welcome here. Even if you want to just come and talk about wrestling or just hang out for a little bit, whatever, you're always welcome here. Any new developments, you're welcome to come back. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. You all will be blessed and prosperous, and we will catch you next time.
Thank you.